My name is Amanda. I'm 21 years old. So I'm going to start making YouTube videos. We'll see how they go. About diabetes, misconceptions, technology, stuff like that. So hopefully it turns out well. Today's video is going to be about my diagnosis, my story. Hopefully I get the timeline right. I'm not really sure a lot of the details because it was 9 years ago and I was kind of out of it for the first 5 days, 4 or 5 days of my diagnosis. So I'm going to try and remember everything. If I forget something, I'm sorry. Maybe I'll make an updated video later on if people are watching these. So here we go. All right. So I was diagnosed at 12 years old. I was diagnosed at the end of February of 2006. What happened was whenever I was on a cruise with my parents in I think it was the end of December, beginning of January, and I hadn't been feeling well. I'd been getting dizzy and stuff like that, and I was waiting in line for the water slide, and my brother was with me, and I guess the ship kind of moved or something, and I lost my balance, and I actually hit my leg on, no, I think this cruise had to have been in February, but I lost my balance, and there was a piece of the pool grout, the tile around the pool, this corner was missing grout. So whenever I fell, I just so happened to hit my leg on that piece. So I ended up getting a really bad gash in my leg. And I kept telling everybody, no, I don't want stitches. Just steri strip it and call it a day. So the doctor couldn't really argue with me, because my parents hadn't been called yet. I was trying to avoid them having to be called. So the doctor steri stripped it, wrapped me up, and sent me on my way. And I showed my parents, and my dad was like, no, you need stitches on that because it kept bleeding through the ACE wrap. So they made me go back and go get stitches. Well, later on, fast forward, later on I was at softball practice. I'd been playing since I was 6 years old. So I've been playing for about 6 years. My dad was coaching my team. I was always the first one on the field, the first one going, I was that person that pushed everybody. Even at 12 years old, I pushed my little league team to get going, let's go guys. But that day I was really lethargic. I was really tired. I drank a lot. I was drinking a lot of Gatorade. And I just felt so sick and so nauseous. Between each pitch that I would pitch, I would literally sit on the mound and wait until it was time for me to pitch again. Excuse me. So I was really tired that day. My mom had been trying to figure out why I'd been getting so sick. I would be drinking a lot of water. At the time, I was drinking Sprite and stuff. We went to dinner one night, and I ordered a Sprite and a water because I was so thirsty. And I drank the entire Sprite or the entire water down. Then I went to the bathroom immediately. My mom said when I came back, my face was blue and I was really cold. I guess that's being cold was a symptom. So my symptoms obviously were frequent urination, drinking a lot of water, being really tired and lethargic. I was always nauseous. I was catching colds really easy and them not going away. So after softball practice that day, my mom had asked her friend, who was a type 2 diabetic, to come and bring his meter. And so they checked my blood sugar when I got home from practice, immediately. When your blood sugar be at its lowest, is after physical activity. So it should have been at its lowest. And we checked my blood sugar on that meter, and it read high. So that's, for those of you who don't know, that's over 500. Most meters, at least, is over 500, reads high. So my mom's mom, so my grandma, had told my mom that I need to go to the hospital right away. But me being a 12-year-old, and I was like, no, I just got done with practice. I need to go get a shower. So I went and I got a shower, changed my clothes, and then we went to the hospital, and it was like 10 o'clock at night. The people in the triage nurses told my mom that they needed to keep me awake, but it was going to be a wait. So we ended up waiting in there for 4 hours. So it was like 2 o'clock in the morning whenever we got pulled back into a room. And then they did all of their tests. They ran everything, started me on an IV and all of that. And then told my mom she is a type 1 diabetic. And we just didn't really know what to think. I guess it just didn't process with me for a while. I really had no idea what type 1 diabetes was. I was 12 years old. What is type 1 diabetes at that age? That die word in diabetes scared me to death. I thought it was a death wish. I thought it was like cancer. If I look down, by the way, it's because I've got notes. I'm trying to remember the timeline. So after Flagler diagnosed me, they started me on an insulin drip. They tried to give me potassium in an orange Gatorade. I don't like orange Gatorade. I'm very picky. I don't like orange Gatorade. And then whenever they put the potassium in, it made it taste even worse. So I took one sip of it and I was like, nope, not drinking that. So Flagler called Wolfson's, and Wolfson's ended up sending an ambulance to pick me up and take me to Wolfson's in Jacksonville. So I went to Wolfson's. The ambulance was going, lights and sirens and everything, and my mom actually beat the ambulance to the ER. And I remember on my way to the hospital, the paramedics in the ambulance kept waking me up. Are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, no, I'm 12 years old. It's 4 in the morning. I want to go to sleep. So I was trying to go to sleep. So I got to the hospital in Jacksonville, and I remember the paramedics saying, well, somebody was speeding, whenever my mom was actually at the ER waiting on us. She had gotten there way before us. And I still make fun of her nowadays, somebody was speeding. But so after we got in there, the doctor told my mom that Flagler tried to kill me, that I was about 2 hours from being in a coma at the time. Flagler brought my blood sugars down, but they didn't bring my potassium levels up and my carbon dioxide levels down at the same time. So, my electrolytes were so imbalanced, that bringing my blood sugar down could have been dangerous at the time. So, I know that really scared my mom whenever she found out that I almost died at 12 years old because of another hospital. So after a while, they got me up into a room. I spent a week in ICU, and I spent 2 days in a regular room, mainly because they were really packed. So it wasn't because I needed to be in ICU for a week. I think they were going to move me out after 5 or 6 days, but they didn't have room on the regular floor after a while. So I ended up going up after a week. I did have this really awesome ICU nurse that she would come in and she would help me learn how to give myself shots. This was after 4 days in ICU. I wasn't really all there for those first 4 days. So yeah, she came in and she would sit on the bed with me and she would talk to me and stuff like that, and she would show me how to give injections in an orange. And that poor orange, after a while, I would have so much fun injecting it with saline that the orange was all squishy and it was leaking out of other injection sites and stuff. It was really funny. But so this nurse was really cool. I missed her after I moved up to the regular room. So my mom spent every minute by my bed. I don't know what I would have done without her. She's my best friend. She's my rock. There's nothing that I don't know. I just couldn't live without her. Whenever I was in the hospital, I did miss a softball tournament, and I was really upset about it. I remember that that day being like, all right, let's go. You know, like, I really want to go to the softball tournament. My parents were like, no, you can't go, sweetie. Like, I wasn't allowed to go, and I was really upset about it. So my dad went to go coach our team through the tournament, and when he came back, he brought this giant card. Like, I don't know, it was like bigger than that. Like a giant card with all my teammates' signatures and like helpers and parents and stuff like that. And they also signed like a softball. And I have it somewhere. But it was really cool that they did that for me, and get well soon, you know. So it really made me feel better about not being able to make it to the tournament, that they were all thinking about me. My dad also came in one day with a surprise. He was like, I have a surprise for you. And he brought my best friend up with him. And she brought me like this wind chime. And I used to have it hanging up in my closet just, you know, for years. It was hanging up in my closet. And I think it kept breaking. So I ended up having to throw it away, which really sucked. But yeah, I really appreciate I got like stuffed animals, get well cards, stuff like that. Like, people were thinking about me, and I really appreciated it. So after that week, and I went up on the floor, I was finally released after 9 days, on shots. I think I was on Novolin, was a long acting, and then Novolog was my short acting. So I was giving those shots, and I was giving one short acting before each meal, obviously. And then I think I gave Novolin in the mornings, and I think it lasted 24 hours. I can't really remember that part. But I think Novolin lasted 24 hours, and then Novolog was my short acting. So I gave that for meals and snacks and stuff like that. I was on a really strict diet, like this many carbs for breakfast, this many carbs for a snack, this many carbs for lunch, this many carbs for a snack, and then this many carbs for dinner, and then I had another snack. Like, I was eating a lot throughout the day, but it was all to keep my blood sugars kind of in range. Check your sugar when you get up, before breakfast, before dinner, or before breakfast, 2 hours after, before dinner, 2 hours after, or before lunch, 2 hours after, before dinner, and then 2 hours after, and then right before bed. So that was the times that I was supposed to check, and then any time in between that I felt bad, or felt like I needed to check my blood sugar. So I was in 7th grade, and I was finally able to go back to school, and I remember being really cool because I was like the first one in my class that had a cell phone. And that's really the only thing that I found exciting about it. But I got over the fact that I thought I was going to die. I found out what diabetes is. It's an autoimmune disease. My doctor did say that it's not genetic for me. None of my family had diabetes. My grandfather on my mom's side had type 2. And my grandmother on my dad's side had type 2 that was triggered on by removing her pituitary gland. So I was the only one in my family with type 1 diabetes. It wasn't genetic. My doctor called it a mathematical error. So that is my diagnosis story. That's all I can think of at the moment. Hopefully everything is in a timely fashion and not feels like it was thrown together. It kind of was thrown together, but hopefully it doesn't feel like it. Go ahead, subscribe to my channel and like this video, and I'll try and make more. If you have any questions or anything like that, you can leave them in the comments below. And I will also make more videos soon. They'll be a lot shorter than this one. But anyway, bye!